Yeah, we're both going.
Are you sure? I don't see any levels coming up on the one,
Yeah,
two. Okay, I see. I see. Okay. So, welcome. Oh, gotta close the door. Shit. Uh, welcome to the Tribal Podcast, episode 1. Uh, we got myself, DJ, and then we got Savvy on the track.
yeah, yay.
And this is another kind of test run. We got more equipment coming in on Friday. That way the mics aren't so audible where if we're moving and everything. Then also our P's and T's and S's aren't going to be so out there because we're going to have pop filters and mic arms, so it's going to be more smooth with movements and stuff and all that shit. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about just oh shit, gotta turn that off. I already told you turn that shit on airplane mode.
I tried. It was.
There's no trying for airplane mode. You just gotta swipe it up and press airplane mode, nigga.
I tried. You know.
All right. So, anyways, future plans. We got this year. We were planning on doing a lot of drops with every Friday for summer, but summer hasn't really gone as planned thanks to 2020 kind of being crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got Corona hit us pretty fast, and then everything kind of escalated fast as well. Things shut down quick as fuck, and everybody was kind of too nervous to go outside. And then the protests happened, and people definitely didn't want to go outside. But yeah, this podcast has been kind of planned since October, really, because I got the mic arms. I mean, I got the mics in like October, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got them in October. Cause I remember you brung them down. We was at Mike's house in the basement, and then you brung them down that time around then.
Yeah, it was like because what I was planning was that because I knew it was gonna be a while before we dropped music, so I was like, well, we might as well start a podcast. That way, we can at least still have content to release, even if it's not music. We can still have stuff for people to listen to. So I got the podcast mics, and we were just waiting for mic arms and a table. And originally we were gonna do a video for it and everything, like whole 9 yards right away, but then kept getting postponed more and more. And then I just finally was like, you know what, we'll just go ahead and do it one step at a time. So we got the mics and the mic cords, and then we got an interface with 2 channels for mics. And I was like, well, we might as well just start with it and slowly upgrade it over time, because this is like, if now's not the time to start the podcast, I don't know what is, because there's really not shit else to do.
Right, cause everybody's inside. So like they either inside doing the COVID-19, or they're at work at 9 to 5, hoping to get the COVID-19.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think anybody's hoping to get COVID-19.
I mean, you would if you saw that check.
Nobody gets a check for having COVID, though.
True.
They just get sick. The only check they get is a hospital bill. Just saying, like, there's an unemployment check, but that doesn't necessarily mean like you have COVID-19. You're just taking advantage of the situation.
I know.
Well, some people are taking advantage of it. I like. I feel like. I feel like probably a good like 40% are actually needing it. Like,
Yeah, I was about to say a good 60 is taking advantage. Like they're at home.
yeah, like a good 60%, like they could get a job. They could be essential employees. Because I know a lot of people that I was before you came to work, like over where I'm at, um, like a lot of people were just talking about, oh well, I'm just gonna find a way to get fired so I can get an unemployment check.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, but that's temporary, and as long as you're an employee, like you get promised pay. I mean, yeah, you'll get in a span of like 3 4 months. Yeah, you'll get more money than you would working, but then once that gets cut off, like you ain't making that money anymore, and you might as well have kept your job
Right.
because you got used to a budget that isn't your budget. Like, and that's what people don't get. It's like, yeah, like in the moment, yeah, it's cool. Like, really, if they extend it, like I've been contemplating taking advantage of it just for a few weeks. But
See, I would take advantage of it, but the dual fact that I did notice, if you check your receipt, like anywhere you go, you check your receipt, it says like due to coin shortage or blah 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 say to get everything back in order. We is paying back already for the bullshit that they taking advantage of.
yeah, we're gonna have to pay it back in some way. They said that it's not gonna increase taxes, but uh, they said it's not gonna increase taxes in a way like that's gonna affect us directly. But I'm pretty sure that
It is.
they're gonna do something where it's like, oh well, like this little thing needs funded some more, but it's really like just going towards the national debt.
Right.
Because I mean, with the stimulus check, that was like, I don't remember how much. It was like $6.3 trillion that they ended up giving out, and it's for free. And like, they're not just doing that to do it, nigga. Airplane mode.
Bro, I promise you, I put this on airplane mode.
No, you did not swipe up. What?
It's on. Like,
Can you turn on vibrate, please?
yeah. Let me do that because this bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that cuss word out.
We can cuss on the podcast.
Let me see.
Anyways, so we've been making this podcast. Well, it's been in the making. We finally got around to it. And then we also, like I said, we had plans on dropping every Friday of the summer, but it didn't happen because of this. But we still have been making music. Hades has his project dropping here soon, and then shortly after his project drops, I'll be having another project dropping. But yeah, like was planning on doing a lot of music videos this year, but it didn't turn out the way
That we had it planned.
the way we hoped. Like, I don't know. This has been a very like standstill year for everybody. Like I was just talking to Kelsey, and she said that all the college graduates from 2020, like they're having trouble trying to find a job for their careers, for
Yeah.
that like they got or not a diploma but a degree for, because nobody wants to leave their job, and nobody wants to retire right now, and it's hard to get a job for your degree, I guess.
Yeah, because one, we don't know how the economy is going to react. Because if you think about it, China got way more motherfuckers than we do, and they should just working, just back to work, just working.
Well, not only that, but they shut down the country effectively. They shut it down and told everybody to wear masks. But people here in America are like, "Oh, well, we're not communists. We're not going to listen to that. You can't tell us what to do." It's just ignorance.
Yeah,
But anyways, not going to get into politics.
right. We ain't doing no politicking.
But anyways, since we kind of got into Hades in the last episode, trying to figure out more about him, what were you doing previous to the tribe, like before September when we came up in 2016?
Pretty much. I would say like I was just doing like some mixing, playing around with just a couple people's vocals. Before then, partying, I guess,
Yeah.
going out to BG, stuff like that. I did
So
rap.
like music wasn't like your top priority at the time.
Well, like I had it as a top priority. Like I did like maybe 4 or 5 songs with an old friend of mine. Uh, I wouldn't necessarily say we friends, but I wouldn't necessarily say we enemies right now. But uh, a guy by the name say being I did like 5 songs. I only got like maybe 1 or 2 out of them. But I did music, but I didn't really do it that much. And then after I saw that rapping was not the route, it made me want to do audio engineering
Hmm.
as mixing. Not like the
What timeline would you say you were rapping and then found out that you wanted to do audio engineering? Like
um,
like year to year, like what was it?
I think I think like okay, so from like 2014,
Hmm.
I probably only rapped for like maybe a year, and after that year, it was like from 2015 and then on, I was just interested in mixing and stuff like that. Like I knew there was more to mixing, so like I bought myself a laptop. The first program I bought, it was some bullshit program called Mixcraft 8. Like, don't get the Mixcraft. Then I went from Mixcraft to Acid Pro, same program that Sabian ran. Then I got in touch with EJ. EJ turned me on to Reaper, and then I started getting pretty good with Reaper. And then,
Well, let's slow down. Let's slow down.
ooh, ooh, my bad, my bad.
We're talking about your previous to the tribe. So you did Mixcraft, you said.
Yeah,
So like, how many songs did you do on Mixcraft?
I would say probably only an album. Probably only
An
an album.
album? Would you
Probably.
say? Would you say for like somebody in your position back then, and like if somebody today was in that same position, like is Mixcraft a good place to start, or would you recommend something else, affordable? Even though we know, sometimes you can crack programs and shit. We're talking about legal ways to get programs.
If I had to do it all over again and start from that timeline, I'll probably go ahead with Reaper instead of Mixcraft because yes, Mixcraft is good, but it has limitations to where you have to buy a lot of third party plugins. Their default plugins is it's not user friendly, nor does it have enough tools to clean up the vocal necessarily.
Yeah,
Um,
because for the most part, when we came up, you were already like you were using acid, like you were already very, very good with acid already. Which acid is a doll. We're not talking about the drugs, but
right, right.
um. So like, how long? Why was it that you stuck with acid for as long as you did?
Um, Acid was something that Sabian showed me, so it was like something like familiar. Like he literally showed me monitor placement, and he literally like put plugins on like one particular song and just saved it as a preset. And then he's like, "This is how you mix," and he left on just made a whole big preset, and that was it. And he's like, "Just record." So me leaving it there, I went through every single plugin, and I see exactly what it did. I bypassed it, turned it off and on, um, and then I like went through and see the definition of what was a high pass filter, what was a band cue, and stuff like that. So I got like real in depth into what each plugin did and why was it doing it. So then I started went in YouTube. YouTube did a little bit more, and then after that it was like pretty much easy. I think the hardest part on that plugin, I mean not that plugin, on that DAW that we used was how to find the downbeat and how to beat map on there. That was not really user friendly. Like
Well, at the same time, at that in that moment, like we didn't really know that that was so important. Like what we did was we would just put the beat up and start rapping. That was it. Like we didn't even put as many. Like we put hella plugins on uh, vocals and everything back then, just to make it sound good. But we didn't know exactly what was necessary and what wasn't necessary. Like
Right.
we learned over time and everything, because uh, I think it's safe to say that since the beginning with vocals and everything, you've been a bit of a overthinker when it comes to it,
Right.
and there's moments where a lot will be done to a vocal and we'll realize that not all of that needed to be done. But back then, like, we didn't really know any better. There wasn't, I don't know how to word, like, the access to the internet was there to find out what we needed. Hold on. Do we have reverb on this?
Let me go and check.
I'm pretty sure there's reverb.
That's why your voice sounds so much better than mine. Yep. Get out of there.
Okay. Yeah. That's much better. What time are we at right now?
Let me see.
Because we just went like 20 minutes with me having reverb on my voice.
You heard the reverb, but it wasn't like actually activated.
Okay. So like the audio listeners won't be able to hear it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Anyways, so where were we at? Oh, we were talking about, so at the beginning, like, we definitely had moments where we just threw a bunch of shit on vocals to see if it worked.
Right.
Like with some of the Tribe's first songs that I'm not sure if you can still find them on SoundCloud, but they're still up on there. I don't know if I have them privated or not. I'll probably make them public if not after this podcast. But like, shit, what was the first? I think
I believe another project was called Class Clown.
no, like previous to that, like the first songs that we released. I remember it was it was an 808 Mafia beat, and I just don't remember. It was Hello There. That was what it was, because it was like our first song, and it was us. I named it Hello There because it was like kind of just like greeting an audience that we didn't really even have yet. But then the second one was Caramel Rap, and like those songs had a lot on the vocals, but at the same time it was such a minimal mix that if you listen to it today, you're just like, oh man, like this sounds trash with both lyricism and just the mix quality. But I mean, at the time, like, that was the best that we could do with the knowledge that we had.
Right, and knowledge is key. So like, I would say if we put like 10 mixers in the room, and you're the smartest one in the room, you might as well just leave that room.
Well, what I would say is like, there could be 10 engineers in the room, and 9 of them have done years and years and years of research, but one of them has done about 5 years of just plain experience. I feel like the guy with experience would be better than the people with the research.
Right,
because he's already dove into it, while these people have just been reading about it. And reading and acting upon something is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like when it comes to audio engineering, because you can read about something, you could read about something all day about this certain frequency that needs taken out if you hear it, and then you jump into a mix and your ears aren't even tuned to hear that.
Right, and sometimes like you can hear it, you can hear that frequency, but sometimes you might think it's like, okay, so say we had like kick, snare, drum, and all the whole nine, the whole stem tracks. You might think that frequency is actually on your vocal, but it could possibly be in your kick drum, and then you're not gonna know until like you do a certain process to figure that out. And that's what's crazy is we might hear that frequency, but it might not actually be the vocal that's doing it. It might be the actual beat. So then you got to decipher which one it is. So I totally agree that experience is a lot more than better than someone doing it for 9 years.
Yeah, because like I when it comes to like making music on this side of the fence, like the writing process and everything, I've I've read books about like writing techniques and uh, just like uh, what's it called, the build up of a song, like how to make it into a roller coaster, or just like the roller coaster of an album to keep people's attention for many for a long period of time, to just to be able to keep their attention the entire time. And I read about those books, but it took me, we started in 2016. It took me until like the end of 2017, beginning of 2018 to really grasp how to do that um, in in the right way. I won't say like to perfect it, because I haven't perfected it, especially at that time. But like just jumping into it was so much easier than just sitting there and reading about it or listening to people on Instagram talking about it. Cause like um we'll kind of we'll we'll go more into like the origin story of how everything went down once we have everybody here, because I kind of want that to be a bigger podcast. So I won't go into like step by step how everything came together in the beginning in 2016. But
Okay.
but yeah, everything was, it was definitely, I feel like we got a lot done with just jumping into it.
Yeah, no, it
And
was totally fun. Like,
yeah, the
uh,
fun was there. It was always something different, because we went from doing, because like when Dylan and Joe came up, we would always try and do songs that all of us could hop on, and we tried to find long beats, that way everybody had equal amount of time and everything. And then there was just like one day where I was at work. I was literally at I was at Bob Evans flipping burgers, and I was just taking like napkins, and in between orders, or as I laid an order down, waited for it to cook, I would just write lyrics that were in my head, and I was writing them down. Ended up making a song out of it, and I got off work at like 10:30, and that's when I hit you up, and I was like, "Hey, you guys still up? And would you mind me coming up?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, like it's fine. I don't have work." Blah blah blah, because Vicky was pregnant at the time, and you were working weekends only. So, and this was like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, and then I came up there and ended up dropping apology letter, and like we didn't think too much on it. We just went for it, and it was a lot different, because from the experience of making the songs with Dylan and Joe, I kind of uh, got more of an understanding of what I wanted my message to be. So after that, I just like got a lot of inspiration between from just doing songs with them and going to the studio every day. So I ended up going up there and making an apology letter, and at the time that was like my biggest song, and I dropped it, shared it once, and I remember like I didn't really feel too great about the song until I saw that my sister reposted it, because I think she posted on Twitter. I still have the screenshot in my phone, but yeah, she posted up on Twitter, and I was like, damn, like she went from laughing about me writing music to now she's sharing it on Twitter.
hmm
And from that moment on, I was just like, I gotta keep going, because if my sister can, you gotta understand, Asia's like very, at the time at least, like she would not do anything in a way that would make people look at her weird, in a sense that like um she would do whatever, she would try to embarrass me on purpose sometimes. Because like I remember one time I was watching Dragon Ball Z, and it was after school, it was like sophomore year or something. I was watching Dragon Ball Z. She comes out of her room to the living room where I'm watching it, pulls out her phone, takes a picture, and then just like posts it on Facebook or Snapchat or whatever, just to like try and get at me, just to like call me out and be like, look, my brother's still watching cartoons. But like low key, nobody really cared because Dragon Ball Z's the shit. So, but yeah, it was weird because like my sister reposting me was different than my mom, because my mom, she's gonna support regardless of what I do. But like Asia's a very outspoken and very mindful of what she supports, I guess, at least back then. So to see her share it, I was just like, wow, if she could go out of her comfort zone and support me, then why am I second guessing myself? If I can make a song that my sister, of all people, the person that would laugh about me saying anything about music or wanting to be an artist, if 3 years after her saying that, she's reposting my music on Twitter, like that's it's different.
See, your way was like way more positive than like my outcome. So like my experience was like all my close friends when I started doing music, they didn't come around. But like all the people that like I didn't fuck with in school, like I didn't talk to them that much, they started coming around. Like they came around, they were putting money in my pockets. I'm like okay. Like, but when when they'll see like a song posted, like if you posted a song or like say Dune or somebody posted a song, then they'll like it. But like they don't check in or
Yeah,
stuff
I know
like
what you
that.
mean.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, so
Those are the type of people where we just like, you just gotta let them be, because there's gonna be people that just watch to watch because they're just seeing if the ship has crashed yet, for real.
yeah, and then like that's what I see. But like but if you do that, like you could turn a hater into a believer though. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you could definitely do that because they gonna see that you progressing so damn much that they starting to actually like you now. And they're like, I don't know why I
And
don't like this person anymore.
the shitty thing about it though is that, yeah, you can turn a hater to a believer, but a believer can also turn into a hater
Very
because
true.
of because somebody could believe in you and then they see you're doing better than them and they're like, bro, like this guy isn't that good. This guy isn't better than me. And then it's just like, you can't be like that. That's how I was in the beginning. I was just going in with, when we first started recording for Class Clown, like I was an angry person. I was angry that everybody else was doing better. At least they gave the perspective, because social media can be
Very deceiving.
very deceiving, and it's easy to lie when all you're doing is posting your success instead of the whole picture. It's easy to crop out shit from the main picture, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
You can take a picture in front of a car, but behind the car you're in a trailer park. Not dissing people in trailer parks or anything, but just like, you could have a flashy ass vehicle and you open the back door and you see a pillow and blanket back there. Like, you could have, I'm just, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, but that's why, like, I don't really post too much. The most I do is just market through social media, and yeah, that's about it. I usually market, or I just share some funny shit.
Yeah, I try to keep my private life quiet as possible because not really nobody, like if they don't like see us every day or talk to us every day, whose business is it to see what we're doing? Like,
Yeah, I understand that, because fake people are always gonna, they'll see you doing anything.
and they be like, how much can I get out this person?
Well,
But
not only that, yeah, definitely that, but it's more or less like, you post something on Facebook and then you see somebody that you haven't seen in like 4 months, they approach you, and then they're bringing up that post that they saw, and they're trying to have a conversation with you like they've been around, you know?
bro,
Like, yo, man, like, I saw you making big moves with so and so. Like, yo, man, you gotta let me know what's up. When's that song gonna drop? You gotta let me know right away. It's like, you would know if you would be watching me instead of just seeing. If you were really supporting and watching the progression, you would know about said song, or you would know that me hanging out with dude isn't new. Like, you would know this shit if you actually were supporting.
Yeah.
But no, you're around for the pictures and glam. I don't do pictures that often.
Yeah, you pretty much sound like they're like clout chasing, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a very slippery road because or slippery slope, because there's definitely going to be people that that jump on the bandwagon, but they're not necessarily bandwagoners. They're new fans.
mm-hmm.
There's a difference between a new fan and then a fake supporter, because a fake supporter will come up to you and be like, yo man, like, they'll make it seem like they're a day one, but they can't name 3 of your own tracks, or they're talking about how much they support your music and stuff, but they don't know where to find your music, even though every time you talk about your music, you're plugging your music and where to find it, and they don't take the time to go and look for it. I don't know, I'm getting kind of mad at this point because I'm starting to
no
like, there's just too many people. Like, I'll go to the bar or something and people will be like, yo man, I see you doing big things, like, man, you're so creative, or like you're putting Finley on, and then they're like, I'll be like, oh yeah, like, but they can't name a song past BTS. Like,
yeah, see, like everybody knows about BTS. That's because they were forced to look at that. They couldn't ignore that. Like, this is what I hate about people, and this is why I don't like people that much.
I was about to say, hate is a strong word, my guy.
I really do mean this. This is why I hate people. Okay, yeah. So like, they'll know what you did, how hard you worked on the song,
mm-hmm.
but then they'll be like, "Hey, bro, you should have did this and this and this and this," and then you're like, "So, all right, so you criticizing what I did?" Yeah, I was like, "Okay."
Well, a lot of times they don't even know the work process of it, or the work ethic behind it.
That's what I'm saying. There's like, you should have dropped that. You should have dropped this and this and this. I was like, yeah, like I'm looking at him stupid. I'm like, you do realize that was a contest beat. Like, that wasn't like just made up for him.
Well, not only that, but it's like, there's people that will be like, oh man, like, you should have done, like, you should have added a verse here, or you should have had this effect here, or whatever. It's like, you don't think like I'm thinking about that now. Like, in the moment, you make a song, and
yeah, like,
if you just sit on a track, there's always going to be more shit that you could do with it. You have to come up with a deadline for yourself, because if you're just sitting on a track
you're gonna keep sitting on that track.
You'll just sit on it more and more, and then it'll become like irrelevant. Yeah, you'll get tired of that track before anybody can hear it. And it's better to release a song, understand that there could be more done to it, and then either make the changes and re-release it in a way, like on an album. If you release a single, it's better to release that single and then make the changes that you want done to it and release it again on the album. That way it's already out there, and then once it's on the album, there's something new for somebody to listen to once they listen to it. Or release that single, understand that there could have been changes or this added or whatever, and put that energy into the next song. Like, procrastination is something that I've been trying so hard to like stop doing, because I can't stand when other people procrastinate, so I'm not going to do it. And I didn't want this to be an angry podcast.
I wouldn't say like, okay, so I see what you're getting at with your line of work. With my line of work, I wouldn't say my thing is like procrastination. I think mine is more of I already see like when I do a mix, like, I'm supposed to have a vision and a picture in my head already, and once I start mixing it, and I start like, and if it starts veering off from that vision, and like I get to the point of no return, I stop that mix and I wait for a different day for me to get that vision right back on hold. So like, if I have a vision of making that song sound dreamy, but like you like talking on top of the beat, like you floating all the way up in there, and instead the song comes out like really aggressive, like just dead center, no dreaminess, just like really edgy with some grit to it.
If it just comes out sounding bad, basically.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will come out sounding bad. It's just like,
not to expectations.
yeah, like you might, it might sound like really good to y'all, but like my thought in my head was, okay, I was gonna make this airy so it sounds wavy right here, and then make this sound like right here, but instead it was just like a bar for bar type mix.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes I know like a lot of times, especially with my songs, like you know for sure, like you'll come up with an idea and execute for it, and I'm just like, no, bro, like that's not what it's supposed to be. And like I feel bad doing that, because like there's many times where like I can tell like you put a lot of thought and a lot of energy into it, but it's like, bro, like this wasn't the song to do that. Like and I feel really bad for it, but like at the same time, that's why I also like, I don't like going to other engineers and stuff, because they kind of just they do their own thing, but they don't check in with me, which I mean, it's not their responsibility to really check in with me, but they're taking my art and forming it in a way that could either ruin it or
better
it.
Like the only person like I would say like that I fully trust and like am not really too worried about mixing is either you have to be Black or Sin. Like
oh yeah,
I'll either have to go with Black or Sin. Like I know there's a lot of other engineers in the game, but I haven't heard
like on our level, like
yeah, like I haven't heard any other engineer that like competes with like I heard about Smurf, I heard about Sin. You can throw Sabian in the same caliber, but other than that, like I really haven't. Oh, I forgot about Breezy. Breezy. I was set the tone for this. I would say Breezy's like the head caliber engineer. He's the hardest to get a hold of and the most expensive. But Sin also has a legendary mix name under his belt. But I don't really hear any other engineers besides Detroit or Ohio or Cleveland making the kind of noise that we're making. I believe like everybody is like watching what we're doing and trying to mimic it. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I would say like in a way, people are definitely. I want to say people are going like mimicking us in general, but they're like,
following our blueprint pretty much.
Like, bro, like how many motherfuckers did you know in Finley that came out with music videos from like this generation? Like
none.
Like
besides you, like, in Austin, none.
Yeah. Like Austin definitely like set the tone for taking music serious and releasing the music in a professional way. But like I was doing music way before Austin released music. I don't know when he started, but I was doing music way before Austin released his first single. Like I've been writing music since 6th grade.
Okay.
So, I mean,
I would how old was I know when he started, but like I got to remember like how old I was. I want to say I was either 17 or 18. I used to live on this street called Jefferson. If you know where Jefferson is in Finley, you already know that road. Don't go down that road, man. Just don't go down there. you be alright. But needless to say, we was at a party having some fun. He lost his virginity that night. He got some.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about?
Austin.
Let's not get into people's personal lives.
No, we not getting there. I'm just saying.
Hold on.
He made a song about this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut out a portion of the podcast because I want the podcast to be about us. I don't want this to be anything about name dropping anybody or anything like that. So there's gonna be a portion of the podcast that's cut out for that purpose. But yeah, let's go ahead and change topics. So let's see. Has 2020 made it more difficult or easier to do music?
I would say both. Like, yes, you can get some mixing done, but at the same time, it also makes it harder. So, say it makes your artists not want to come record because some of them may not even come because of the COVID. Some of them might want to stay home. They could send you the tracks, but you don't know if they're properly recorded. Then you gotta. It's just a yes or no factor. I mean, I'm not opposed of it. Can it be done? Yes, we all get the same 24 hours, but is it harder? At the same time, yes, it is, but it can be done.
Yeah, I feel like it's more difficult in a way of trying to collaborate with people, trying to even on like from your perspective, like to be able to sit down with somebody and kind of get their feedback on mixes and stuff, and then also in an artist perspective trying to get, because a lot of people don't like making songs with people but not being in the same room as them. I could care less. I can get somebody that emails me a song with a verse slot empty that just wants me to record it and send it to them. That's fine. If you want to come through the studio and make a song like that, that's fine. The only thing that really makes that part difficult is when people show up and they don't even know what type of song they want to make.
Yeah, absolutely hate that shit.
They pull up and they're like, yo, let's get started. And I'm like, okay, like, where's the blueprint? And they're like, oh, like, it's just an idea. Okay, well, if it's just an idea, then you can go home, like, for real. Because at that point, you're wasting my time. Because I know from, like, definitely both of us would understand this. Like, our time is it's very important.
Right.
And my time means more to me than getting paid for a verse. So when you come through and you make it sound like we're about to get a song done and everything like that, like I'm mentally prepared for the beat to be already chosen and at least an idea for the song, and even just have a hook. Like if you were to even just have a hook ready, like that would make things go by so much smoother, so I know what tone to have. And really, if you come prepared, we can get the song done like in an hour and a half. But when you come through and we got to find a beat and we got to come up with a topic,
then I already lost all like whatever mojo I had.
Yeah,
for the song.
Because that's like a 2 hour. That's a 2 hour process right there.
Yep, I'm sitting there. I'm like, man.
Because it's a 2 hour process of finding the beat, which will take like, it could take like 45 minutes to find the right beat, because motherfuckers want to be picky about their beat, but don't want to be picky about the time that they're wasting. Like that just irks me a bit. But
they all like to waste time till it's time to come pay the bill.
Well, not even only that. It's just like they just, well, yeah, it's definitely the whole money thing, but like they just don't understand like how, I don't like working with people that don't take it as serious as me. And right. I can tell when people don't take it serious because they don't take the time serious. So when I tell them like, oh well, I have to leave at this time, they're like, bro, like I thought we were making a song. It's like, yeah, but a song doesn't take 6 hours to make. It will take 6 hours to. It'll take. If I put 6 hours into a song, that shit is gonna have a lot done to it. Or if I okay, I've put well over 6 hours into a song one time. But if I put 6 hours into a collab where it's not my song, but it's a verse I put on it, if I put 6 hours into that verse, that shit is gonna. I'm not. For most people, they put 6 hours. They plan on working 6 hours on a song, and it's just a lead vocal and some ad libs, and that's it. Me, from my point of view, I see them take 6 hours to do a lead vocal and some ad libs, and I'm just like, bro, like I'm sick and tired of hearing this song. By that point, I'm tired of the beat. I don't know. I don't know really where I'm getting. I'm just like ranting at this point. But if you want to work, be ready to work. If you want me to hop on a track, be ready to hop on a track. Don't come through with empty ass hands telling me, oh, well, I thought we could just sit down and find a beat. No. You're asking me to get on a song with you for your name, your stage name. This is your reputation. So it should be a beat that you like. Because if I find a beat that I like, that song's turning into mine. And that's just how it is. Like, I'm not going to find a beat that I like and drop a verse on that and a hook on that just for you to lay a verse on it and slap your name on the front of it and just be like, yep, this is my song.
Yeah, because if you put in the most work, if you put in the more work, I would say that was like your song. Because that's why I really don't do collabs either. Like, I can honestly say, I only collabed with like with actually songs being released. Whereas I only collabed with two people.
In terms of like you as an artist or as an engineer?
No, as me as an artist, I only collab with two people. Like, of them hearing the song with me and them out. Like, there were some songs behind the scenes that I collab with people, but that song never got to see the light of day. So like, it was like
we had a song that we put out.
Yeah, like you're included. Like, but
yeah, we had the I Can't Wait, but I'm pretty sure I took that down because that shit was that was a trash song. It was like my first fast rap though. It wasn't really a fast rap. It was just more of trying to say as much as I could in one breath, which back then was considered fast rap. But yeah, collabs aren't really. I'm very stingy of who I do collabs with. I'm always down to do collabs though. Like I'm down to do collabs if you're taking it serious. Cause like a lot of people hit me up and they're like, "Yo, we should get on the song together." And I'm not being fake when I tell them like, "Oh yeah, let's do it." But I'm also saying that in a business way where it's like, okay, well, like you don't pull up to a restaurant and just be like, I have no idea what I want to eat.
Hell no, they gonna look at you crazy.
Like you're gonna pull up with at least an idea of what you want. Like, okay, I at least want a salad, but I gotta pick what kind of salad I want. Or like, I want chicken. Do I want chicken strips? Do I want a salad with chicken in it? Like, you at least have an idea of what you want. Otherwise, you're just pissing off the servers because you're taking up a table where somebody else could sit there and be dropping them a tip. It's the same with this business. Is like, if you want a service done, you better be prepared for that service to be done. Like, don't pull up waiting for them to make the decisions for you. Like, I'm not going to choose the beat for you. I'm not going to choose what like, I'm not going to choose your mood for the day. That's basically what music is what are you feeling today? And if you don't know what you're feeling, then why am I making a song with you?
Yeah, and that also kind of goes into like my kind of line of work too, because if you're not feeling a song or if you don't believe in the song, you can't expect anybody else to believe in that same song, because if you can't believe in it in yourself, you cannot expect anybody else to believe in it. So like, I would say like there's been people like that recorded like, hey bro, does this sound hot? And they look over, I'm like, okay. And I always ask guys like, well, did you believe in it? Nah, but does it sound cool? I was like, well, if you didn't believe in it, don't expect me to believe in it. So like, I would just tell them like, you come in, be ready to work, and put a freaking message behind the music. I'm tired of hearing about freaking murder, drugs, and money. Like, send a good message behind it, because music is a message at the end of the day. Like, music is like the strongest weapon. Like, yes, they could kill us and all this stuff, like do all that, but like, music is actually the strongest weapon. Like, you can change people's minds and wills with this. Like,
Yeah.
they should take it seriously.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Especially like with you having to listen to it all the time, like, because like, I don't know. This is kind of a touchy subject, cause at least like in terms of music in general, because music is an art of whatever you,
Or whatever you like. Yeah.
well, no, not necessarily what you like, but like your perspective of life, like whatever you've grown up around. If you are into music, that's what you're gonna rap about. But like some people, I'll be honest, some people just haven't. They don't live the same life that they rap. But I don't know. It's a weird subject, because art is something where you can't really be against it. You can not like it. You can have your opinion of it, but that doesn't mean that it's not art.
Right.
But I definitely I see where you're coming from though, because it does get annoying always having to hear people talking about dealing drugs, hitting licks, and pulling bitches from the club. Like, that's I can't listen to that.
Well, like, it. The only reason it bores me is because it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be the same tone every single time, the same the same gunshot. It's just the same. Like,
Look at the Migos. The Migos released Culture 1 and Culture 2, and they just sound like Culture 2 just sounds like a deluxe version of Culture 1, and it's literally just this. It's, to me, you guys can think whatever the fuck you want about it. They could be the best group in the world, whatever. To me, every Migos song is the same, with just the words are just organized differently. That's all it is for me.
Yeah, because like I get what the industry is doing for artists that have managers. I'm not up against that, but like, at some point in time, yes, you have a sound that sells and works. Yes, we understand that, but at the same time, once you find that sound that sells and works, you must advance your sound and change your sound. If we still hear the same thing in the next 3 or 4 months, we's gonna get tired and we're not gonna listen. That's why most artists die off. And if you look at Chris Brown, if you look at Jordan Lucas, if you look at Tory, like, all of them have changed their sound slightly, just a little bit, to keep us intrigued.
I don't even talk on Tory Lanez. He was just into some controversial shit. You hear about that?
Nah. I haven't heard about that yet.
Meg Thee Stallion and him, I guess, were at a party, and they had some kind of disagreement, and allegedly she attacked him, and he tried to. Allegedly, they had an altercation that ended with him shooting her in the foot or something. and now I'm pretty sure he's locked up. I don't think he's went to court or anything because that's gonna take a minute. But yeah, he
Canada.
he didn't necessarily put the paws on her, but he pulled up on her in a very bad way.
I don't condone that by any means, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to say that ad lib one more time. Canada.
Bro, shut the fuck up. But shit, what were we talking about? Oh, just like music and how it forms to your life and everything. There's a lot of times where like I'll listen to a certain artist and I know like what I'm gonna get from them. I know I'm gonna get the street life music and all this and that, like, and even though I've never lived that lifestyle, like sometimes it does get me hyped to listen to it. So yeah, like in a sense, like if they want to play that category where it's like, yeah, I know people don't listen to me for the message, but they listen to me to get hype. Like that's cool and all. Like I respect that. Like you wanna be an artist that people go to for
So
for
like
that energy.
like, yeah, like entertainment kind of.
Mm-hmm. But I watched this TED Talk the other day, and I forget what it was called, what the title for it was. But it was this dude, and he was talking about the rap industry, and he was just talking about how crazy it is that rappers can go and sell millions of records talking about dealing drugs, talking about shooting other people, killing them, and bragging about crimes and all that. And but then they get in trouble for talking about like in the moment things. Like everybody labeled Lil Baby as just another mumble rapper. I'm not saying everybody did, but nobody really placed him on a category of his own until he dropped that latest track where he talked about the Black Lives Matter movement.
True.
And like if that record didn't do well, his label would have shelved him. I'm pretty sure about that. If he released that song with that message and the label didn't like it, he would have been shelved. You know why? Because everybody in the rap industry, every label, the head honcho is a white dude. White people control the music industry, and that's just facts. And in the TED Talk, dude was talking about it. He's like, yeah, like, because there's this Rick Ross lyric. He was like, see, Rick Ross was going around selling this record, and he was sponsored by Sprite while he was saying these lyrics, talking about dealing drugs, killing niggas, just doing all sorts of wild shit. But then he got dropped from his sponsorship with Sprite once he said a lyric saying, I slip a Molly in her drink. And he's like, how is it? He's like, I'm not condoning what he said when he said, I'll slip a Molly in her drink. I'm not defending him. But how is it that it's okay to talk about shooting other black people and dealing drugs to other black people, but it's not okay to say I'll slip a Molly in her drink?
Because they want it to where they want it in a directory towards like it's our people, but like I would say like if it was open to everybody, like if you do an open sentence to where you're talking to like every culture, every single race, that's where they're like, hey bro, you gonna have to chill on that, bro.
Well, yeah. Well, what I was gonna get to is like, dude broke it down. He was like, white people control the music industry. Almost 60, I think it's like 65% of music consumers that go out and buy merch, that buy tour tickets, that buy just albums in general and everything like that, 60% of them are white people. So they do not, to them, to listen to black people talking about shooting and killing other black people and dealing drugs and all this, that's entertainment for them. They're like, they feel like they're part of that culture now. But once dude starts talking about slipping a Molly in a drink, then they're like, oh wait, that's too close to home, you need to stop that. That's what he was basically saying. Like, it's okay to talk about something controversial if it doesn't connect to that audience that that label is knowing they're going to reach. That's why there's artists that are seen as crazy, that are seen as just seen as trash now, because they got into the industry and found out how evil and twisted it is, and they didn't want to be a part of that anymore. And there's some people that they're in there and they realize they're stuck because they know that they don't have any other route of revenue coming in, so they just play into that stereotype. And dude was just talking about it on that TED Talk. He was just like, lyrics that contain talking about shooting and killing people are wanted on radios. They want to hear about black people killing black people because it brings profit in. The killing and diluting of black communities brings money in. Rap is the number one genre in the world. It is bringing the most revenue in. It saved the music industry. It literally saved the music industry. And the fact that the music industry was saved by rap, the rap culture, but yet they're pretty much
at the same time, kind of.
Well, they're shooting at our feet and telling us to dance. That's basically what it is.
See, and you can't really do that because it's just like you getting a dog. Okay, you can only beat the dog so many times until that dog gonna bite you, and then like you could beat that dog again, but that dog might bring a friend or two next time. Like you can't be doing that. Like you have to learn at one point in time. Yes, this favor was done for you. Yes, this happened, and yes, our culture may have saved the rap industry, but at the same time, if it's the time for the rap industry to fall, it's the time for the rap industry to fall. Like,
well, it's not the rap, it's the music industry. Rap saved the music industry.
That's what I'm saying, but they can't be looking at one specific culture to hold up the whole weight. It's like, hey man, we ain't gonna just have a backpack on us and carry the whole team the whole time.
Well, like, it's not necessarily they're wanting rap to be the leading genre. It's just how
it is.
It's society. Society wants to hear it. So it's not necessarily like, oh well, like if it's time for it to end, it will end. No, it's what the people want, and the industry is picking and choosing what music is put out there, because like you'll hear more music about dealing drugs and toting guns and all that. You'll hear more of that on the radio than you ever will hear another Kendrick Lamar or another J. Cole or another Tech Nine or anybody like that. You'll hear more of just the recycled artist. Okay, like, yeah, so and so fell off, but this dude's coming up doing the exact same thing. Like, that's why I call him recycled artists, because it's just once one goes stale, they just throw him in a bin and he'll be back around. It's a merry-go-round, and that's basically what the culture is right now. And there's still people that pop off that don't display the same message. Like most recently, like Joyner Lucas just popped off like 2 or 3 years ago, and he doesn't display the same message. But it's very rare because like the way the industry's set up is like if you play into what they want you to be, they're gonna try and sign you. They're gonna try and push you until they don't need you anymore because you never had a real following. But the people that take the time to create a following before they go into a label, before they try and take it like into that level of a business where you're giving a percentage of the control to somebody else, like there's people that
They're scared of that.
well,
They're absolutely
no, there's
terrified.
people that sit back, wait for that audience to build, wait for their fans to be pretty much their co-signers, because that's what happened with Logic. He had such a huge following that once he actually had his meeting with Def Jam, he was like, look, you guys can either sign me and help the distribution of this, or I can continue being an independent artist making all this money on my own and you guys get none of the cut because I'm already making money from the fans I have. Like, what are you guys going to do to help me? I've already made my following. And that's where the industry caters to people. That's where the industry will do flips for you instead of you doing flips for them. Once you have that big following that regardless of what you do, they're going to follow you. Like Russ. Russ has an enormous following. All because he created that over time. And like he was breaking records over just SoundCloud releases. He was doing big numbers every single drop. And then he finally went to TuneCore to get his shit released on a wide scale of music distribution. And then he started making all those fans that were listening to him on SoundCloud followed him through there. And once you make real fans like that are loyal, that are real supporters, once you have that following, like the industry can't tell you shit. They can't control you for shit because they're not bringing you in to get you a following and get you the money and then fuck you over and be like, look, you only got this because of us. No, you're showing up with the shit. Like, are you guys gonna do business, or am I gonna take my business somewhere?
Right.
Or elsewhere. And doing it like that is just like, people just don't have the patience for it now. And it's,
yeah, everybody just wants the
they want that quick come up, that quick bag.
Nobody wants to,
that bag. As quick as the bag comes in, the bag will go away because you can get signed for $100,000, but after all them fucking fees
but you still owe that $100,000 back too.
But you can get signed for $100,000. You would have to pay whatever lawyer you just hired to get that contract to work out the negotiations, and then you will still have to pay them for the songs you do, for the studio time, everything like that. And then you'll still have to pay them what they paid you because it's really just a loan. And after that, like, you might get signed for $100,000 but only see like 1.5K. Literally just see a stimulus check. Like, it's not, literally you'll see people come up and they made a bag on their own and did something with it. There's more people out there than you would think that did that. Because like Lil Baby, it just came out that he did some flipping and ended up getting $100,000 from just flipping. And like he just invested that into himself. Some people wait for a label to do that for them, and that's why they don't go anywhere. Because nobody's going to invest into you if you're not investing into yourself. And if they do see potential in you and invest into you, the second that people start going against you, you're not going to get heard from again. You're not going to be like a Logic that can release a a project that doesn't sell so well, but still is able to renew his contract. That's just not going to happen. But anyways, we're getting hella off topic this time. Let's go a few more minutes. What's your go-to thing to do in your downtime away from music?
My go-to, I'll probably say fishing. Like, if I had my fishing license this year, I'll probably be fishing a lot because either that or going to the gym. I think that would be like the best downtime because if I'm not doing music, I want to do something that's always keeping me focused. Like fishing is a patient man's game. Like you have to be patient to fish. If you work out, you kind of have to have like a regimen routine. So now it's pretty much me just keeping something consistent. So fishing takes consistency of being patient, and working out just takes consistency, waking up same regimen every single day. So as long as I'm doing something consistent all the time, that's like the best thing for me to be downtime because when I do music, it's just a consistency of problem solving. It's kind of like find that frequency or figure out why this is popping out, or it's just like pretty much mixing to me. It's just like problem solving. It's a big puzzle.
Yeah, we've only went fishing twice together, at least, because we went to the reservoir here in Finley and then the reservoir in Fostoria. We only did it for like at Fostoria. We actually did that for a few hours. We didn't catch anything. Oh no, we did catch. We caught a few. We didn't keep them though, because we didn't have the proper shit to fillet them and everything. But yeah, I would say like I watch just hella anime. I don't really.
You gonna be real mad.
I don't watch it for any particular reason other than it's entertaining. What do you mean I'm gonna be mad?
You gonna be mad
if you're about to spoil something. I don't want to hear it.
You'll be mad after this podcast. I gotta show you something.
What?
It's gonna be fire. Don't worry about it. You'll see.
What's it got to? What was?
It got to do with something anime. That's all I gotta say.
What do you mean?
It has to do with Dragon Ball Z and Naruto. For those that don't know that, y'all ain't gonna know.
Are they having like a crossover or something?
No. I got something.
Like in the mail?
It's in the car.
It's in the car. Okay. But yeah. Yeah, I'm mainly just in my free time I just watch anime. I just recently started getting back into playing video games because I don't really have an interest in it. Because literally the last time I really played video games was 2016. Like right before when I graduated, I would just go to work, get off work, play video games. And then I finally like had a wake up call where it was like I need to actually take music serious now. And so once I started recording, I didn't really care too much about video games. Like there's a lot of games that I missed out on.
Bro, you're telling me like ever since like we started doing music, I barely get time to play video games. Like so like I'm glad like for like Sundays, like we don't really do too much on Sundays because like it gives us that day to like just recharge. It gives us that one day because 9 times out of 10 we are workaholics. We do our 9 to 5, we do our music, and we are constantly just always focused on something. Like we don't give ourselves a day to rest except for like Sunday. So yeah,
we definitely workhorses, because I know for a few years I literally didn't take a day off. I would go to the studio, record the entire day, and then I would go home, go to sleep, wake up, do the same thing, and that was just what I did. And it came to a point where I wasn't necessarily getting like tired of doing it. It just like was starting to stress me out because there'd be days where I go in I go on a Monday, start working on a song, and by the end of the week, I only have like a verse and a hook done. It's like, like that's where it was like, oh well, I need to take I need to start taking breaks because like I'm getting writer's block, and then I'm also just like I'm I'm pushing myself too much without gas in my tank for real. Like what it was, and this is a big thing to understand too, is like when you do music, once you get writer's block, you need to like, or even just like with you, like when you get like into a block where you can't even mix anymore, a lot of it just has to do with like going out and experiencing life again. Because like once we get into a zone of, okay, we're going to do this project, we kind of just cut ourselves out of the outside world. Like we just do this. But then like we limit ourselves to be able to speak on stuff that's relevant. Like if we just lock ourselves in a room with no cable, no no interaction with the outside world, then we don't know what is going on. We don't know what people want to hear, and we don't know what else to talk about. And sooner or later, you run out of shit to talk about. I know that was very certain for me because I wasn't going to I wasn't going to family get-togethers. I wasn't hanging out with friends. I wasn't going out to eat. I wasn't. All I would do is go to work. Go to work, then I would go and record. And then it got to the point where it was like, oh shit, like I don't even know what else to talk about because I already hit all the topics that I wanted to right now. So it was like I don't really know where else to go with my music, my lyrics. I was like, damn, like I need to take a few days off. A few days turned into like 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks turned into about 2 months. And this was just recently. This was because I didn't, after BTS I took a well-deserved break. I dropped BTS, and then I didn't record another song until I want to say like late December, and that came out in October. So yeah, it took me a while to really want to jump back into it. There'd be times where people would come through, like you remember Tone would come through, and he's like, yo man, I got this beat, you want to hop on it? And I was like, bro, like I'm not even music minded right now. And that was just because like I had a lot of shit going on back then. Like I was contemplating just handing the reins over to somebody else and giving up.
No, not today, buddy.
I mean, I do have a plan where if shit doesn't go as it should or as it eventually could, I don't know. I do have a plan for if music doesn't work out, but at the same time, I'm not gonna just be like, well, since I have a plan, I'm gonna give up.
Well, as long as you have a plan, that's all that matters. Um, like I know we're like a dynamic duo because yes, we don't tell each other all the information like right away, or like you'll plan something ahead of time, and I'll plan something ahead of time, but eventually us planning that stuff ahead of time, it comes together into light to where it benefits both of us at the same time. So like,
See, and when it comes down to it, is like whenever we do plan something, like at least for me personally, I I tend to, if it's gonna affect us in the long run or anything like that, I try to make sure somebody's contributing with it. I don't, because for too long like I was handling shit on my own, and that's at the
that
time I was like, this is how I want it to be, but then I realized how much pressure that was, so I was like, I don't really want to do that anymore. So I try to make sure, like I give the group chat updates on what I'm doing for the most part, um, in terms of business. But if it's more of like a one-sided thing where it's something that uh, it might not come to fruition for whatever, if it's not gonna like come to light, I won't really talk about it unless I know for certain it will. Or if it's an opportunity for everybody, like I'll talk about it. But in terms of like my personal life, I don't really talk to too many people about it. I mean, I talk to it about people when it starts to affect me in a way that I can't really
handle it.
Well, not necessarily handle it, but once I realize that it's starting to affect how I'm treating people, then I won't dive into it, but I'll just be like, hey, like I got this going on, but I'm not gonna talk about it. I'll just be like, hey, this is going on right now, so just so you know, I'm gonna kind of be AWOL for a little bit, but I'll be back. And that's basically how I operate. I at least let it be known that something's going on. But yeah. I think that's a good way to go ahead and close this out. I mean, we've been going for what, like an hour and 30 minutes? All right. How long are we at?
80 minutes.
80 minutes? Okay. We can go. Stop me when we're at 90.
Okay.
Let's see. Shit. This will probably take too long, but the journey from Fostoria to today. And how much everything has changed. We went from talking about meeting Sin and just like holding him as this like icon of what we should be, and then we ended up meeting him and recording Final Warning, and that shit felt good as fuck, because I was like, this is the dude that everybody for at the time I was like, everybody for the past 2 years has talked about this dude to me. I've never heard of him, and now I'm in the studio with him and he's liking my music. I was like, damn, this is crazy. And it felt really good to be able to go from talking about somebody to meeting them. Yeah. And especially like Tone, of course. Like Tone was at our first show and got our contact information and wanted to meet up. So that was pretty dope too. Like we ended up, everything kind of just fell into place after we met Sin, because we met Sin and then we met Tone, then we met Black, and then Black introduced us to Josh, and then Josh ended up Josh ended up like making everything, like we got a closer relationship with Black, and then we got a closer relationship with him just from like working with both Black and Josh, because we were just like, we would go to Black and be like, hey, like, can we get this beat, or can we get this mix? Because like he mixed Kid Goku, and then he mixed I Do What I Like, and then I met Josh, and the second that I went up to his studio and was kicking it with him, because we were about to shoot for the next scene for Self Doubt. I went up into his studio, and before we even started recording, he started playing I Do What I Like, and he's like, I love this fucking song. I love this song. I was like, bro. I was like, I didn't even have to show that to you. He's like, yo, no, like Black's my dude. Like I overheard him mixing this, and I was like, send that to me. And I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, we like everything just kind of fell into place. And then we shot for BTS, dropped that, and then that's when eventually, through just pure coincidence, I ran into F1 at the bar one night, and then we started talking, and another night we went over to Crunch's place.
Yeah, I ain't getting lit with that. I ain't getting lit
Bro,
with
that was a wild night.
I ain't doing that.
That was a wild ass night. But
look, man.
We went. Let's not talk too much about this. Okay.
No, I ain't talking about.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Look,
Okay.
man. There's two different types of people. All right. There's predators, and then there's the not so predators. If you ain't built like that, don't go over there.
But yeah. F1 ended up being there, and he's like, "Hey man, like let me go talk to you." I was like, "Oh shit!" So we went out, and because at this time, like, I met him at the bar already, and we discussed doing a collab, and then I saw him over at Crunch's place, and then he took me over to his car, and he started playing me some of his unreleased shit, and shit was dope. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, like we were supposed to do that collab." And I was like, "Hey, don't sweat it. Like, I can wait." And uh, he was about to show me his verse, but he couldn't find it in time, and he had to go. I wasn't gonna keep taking up his time over business when he was trying to just have a good night with his dudes. But yeah, he showed me a lot of his unreleased stuff. He told me about some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes of the business, doing big things. Shout out to F1. But we never really got around to doing the track yet because he's just been a busy ass person. And I understand because with everything that he was telling me that he was about to be doing in that moment, I understand why he's not able to hit the studio at the moment. He's got a lot of meetings and shit to get done. but yeah, it's been crazy from it just being you and me in the studio with some $60 monitors just working on a free DAW with hella crack plugins.
Hey, look, I don't condone the crack plugins no more. I bought my shit. Thank you very much.
But yeah, it's been a hell of a journey already. Like like I said, we went from talking about people to now like we got their number in our phone.
And it's just gonna go up from there. Like 2020 might be the year of the COVID, but 2020 is also gonna be the year of some other big surprises.
Yeah.
So
and like these people, like the people that we talk about, like Sin, Tone, Josh, Black, like they probably don't necessarily feel like they're up there, but they gotta understand like we were just like we were on the ground floor and we were looking up towards them, and like with meeting them, that means that's crazy to think about. Just having a conversation with them, it means a lot. Because it's weird going from like I said already, like talking about somebody to having a regular conversation with them on a not a daily basis, but on a regular basis. It's weird because yeah, they might not see themselves as that guy, but to us, like they were that guy to us, and they still are. Like they have that experience that we don't have yet. So of course we're always going to be looking up to them. And
that's a good thing too.
Yeah. Because to have them as acquaintances or friends, business partners, whatever, like to have them associated with us in one form or another, like that gives us that knowledge as well. So shout out to all of them too. Like it's weird. It's weird to think like that, especially like with them actually fucking with us, and it's not just like straight business. Like we could hit them up and be like, we could hit them up just to joke around and shit. We could also hit them up and be like, "Hey, I want this business done." They're like, "Bet."
Right. So I would say that we executed on the business side, and since we showed really good business, it turned from a business into a friendship. Because what people don't do, I say with that, like very carefully. Some people try to like go from friendship to business, and it doesn't really work out. I think you have to go from business to friendship, because once you have that business executed, like how we did with Sin and Tone and all them, we made sure that their payment was there 1st, and then we built the friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very key thing to remember too. Is to if you're doing business with somebody, make sure you're ready for the business right away. If you're going over there to do $100 worth of work, put that $100 on their desk before you even
Get to work.
Get into the process. Yeah, because nothing will motivate somebody more to want to work with you as much as holding up your end of the bargain. If no matter what it is, if you go to McDonald's, order a burger, and if you want to eat your burger before you pay for it because you want to make sure that it's worth that dollar, you're not going to get that burger.
I ain't gonna disrespect McDonald's because that's $1 million corporation, but I ain't going there.
It's not disrespecting. I'm just saying, like, you don't go anywhere and expect to get the product before you pay for it.
Yeah, you definitely cannot expect that whatsoever. And the people that do have that mindset, I don't know if you like came from the past, but this the present, yo. You can't do that in 2020, and it's America. We ain't built like that. See, we greedy folk, but we not necessarily. I'm talking about this. We not greedy. I'm just saying people in other countries know us as like big corporations, a lot of money, greedy people. It's always me. Fuck the other guy.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta remember at the end of the day, if you're doing music with somebody, or no matter what, if you're doing business with somebody in any type of way, and they're kind of pushing you, they're kind of being very stern about taking them serious, just know, like, they're on the hustle just like you are. And a lot of times they're in a different space than you are. If you're the type of person that is willing to do free stuff in the moment, that doesn't necessarily mean that the next guy has to do free stuff with you. Like, it's dope that you're willing to do your craft for free, but at the same time, like, you can't expect everybody to be like that.
And I would say surround yourself around the same energy that you want to put out. Like, if you're a workaholic, keep yourself around workaholics. You cannot expect someone to have the same drive as you if you don't find the same quality traits in that person. Like, if you expect something to come out like you worked on that song for hours and hours and hours and hours, and this person only takes like 10 minutes on your stuff, you cannot expect, because they don't have the same work ethic, find someone that puts in the same amount of work as you. So if you putting in that hard work, make sure that person working with you. Don't make it no 60-40. Make it 60 and 60. Give that 120%.
Yep. All right. Well, guys, we're gonna go ahead and sign off here because we're already going damn near close to 2 hours. But we'll go ahead and let you know. This has been the Tribal Podcast, episode 1. I am DJ.
I'm Savvy on the track.
And we'll see you guys next time.